on building this week, thinking out loud about beginnings, patience, momentum, and faith. My name's Aubrey. I'm an inventor. I talked a couple weeks ago about unfinishing things, and y'all will laugh, but I've had this lip liner probably since college, which is embarrassing, but I didn't wear lip liner for a while, and before I bought a new one, I wanted to make sure I still liked it, and I've gotten it down to the last little nub where I can't sharpen it anymore, which is so frustrating because there's that much product left and I can't use it. But this was my favorite. It is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. And I like it for the formula and the color. And because I finished it, can't sharpen it anymore, I'm very excited to try this Westman Atelier Lip Shape Lip Liner in Petal, which I'm pretty sure is her daughter's name, which I find very sweet. I love Westman Atelier, their branding, Gucci's story that she tells, and just their packaging. I feel like everything they make is beautiful. And so I was excited to try this because it's pretty. And I have to tell you, I did try it once or twice, and I don't know that I like the color as much as the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, even though they look so similar. Like if you look at the color, look at this, they look so similar. But I know what's funny is that this one actually even looks lighter, but I feel like the Pillow Talk isn't as brown. Look at that, that's wild. Where in the stick, it almost looks like it'd be the reverse. But even just seeing that makes me realize I don't think I'm crazy. I do think I like the Pillow Talk color better, but I'm gonna give it a little trial run and give it a try. But I don't know that I'll be able to finish this the same way that I could finish the Charlotte Tilbury one, but we'll see. But definitely browner than I usually wear. Let's see. Yeah, much browner. But it is fun. It's funny, it's fun to try new things, but then it's also hard when you like what you like, because then when you try new things and they're different, I do think sometimes you get used to them, and sometimes you just liked what you liked. This is the Ilia Multi-Stick in Tenderly. Let's see if we can get that to focus. And a friend of mine actually, oh wow, clearly I'm not an influencer. I'm a customer and an inventor. My girlfriend gave it to me because it was her favorite cheek product, and I did not like it on my cheeks personally, but I really like it on my lips, especially with the Petal lip liner or the Rhode Press lip liner, which I don't feel like stays very well. I feel like I got clown lips. Let's see. This is a very slow start to a video, 3 minutes in, and all we've done is lip liner. Curious if you have a favorite lip liner, what you like. I also feel like the Charlotte Tilbury is drier. It sticks better, where that Westman Atelier one definitely is softer, feels more like lipstick, and does not feel like it's gonna stay as well, but it doesn't mean it won't. We'll see. So this week, I can throw this way too. Talking about on building, thinking out loud about beginnings. And so I've been doing this on series for a little while now. And what has been interesting is I have felt like when I first started this, I just had some thoughts, and it kind of started as thinking out loud. And I had been building a brand for a while, but I do not do any type of social media or videos. I do on-air presentations for live shopping at QVC for other brands and other products, all my family's brands, but cooking, cleaning, gardening, not beauty, or beauty hard goods, but not beauty, like goops. And so this was new for me. And so when I first started the video series, I kind of just needed to get going. And I didn't really know what to talk about, and I still don't really know what to talk about, but I felt this shift happening where I was ready to, I don't know, I guess just share more about the building process of what I'm doing. And I love watching founder stories and podcasts and learning about them. And if I could go back and watch videos like this on, say, like Lainey Crowell from Say, or Josie Marin from Josie Marin Cosmetics, or Jamie Abanian from Beauty Bio, like I would. I find that their stories very interesting. And so in the process of hopefully making my own space in the beauty industry, sharing a little bit about the process. And so the beginning is kind of where we are now. Kind of not, actually. What's crazy, like the real beginning, my daughter is 5 now, and I launched my first candle on QVC, actually, under Otho Cosmetics. I started it before I was pregnant with her, like the buyer meetings and things like that. The actual on-air date ended up being 2 weeks after she was born. So I went in the video footage, so we did like our B-roll footage. In the video footage, I am 9 months pregnant, which is kind of a fun memory to have in hindsight. I was hot and tired on that shoot, but it was fun. And then I launched like live on QVC in April 2022. She was born in March. So literally launched Otho 5 years ago. But those candles they were not a smoking hit. Otherwise, we would have had more momentum. They kind of, they got really good reviews, which is exciting. But the QVC customer specifically, I feel like wasn't ready for beeswax, or just isn't the beeswax customer. Like I really did build a luxury candle, and that is not the typical product at QVC. So, which I knew going into it. I was trying my hardest to get the pricing down, but fighting the fact that beeswax just is expensive. And I got it as low as we could. Like we did not great margins to move forward with the order, just to try to test it even. And even with those not sustainable margins, that product was too expensive for that customer, and made me realize the product that I wanted to build was for a different customer likely. And I'll just say, so the beginning right now is a new beginning, because the actual beginning was 5 years ago. So knowing that 5 years ago kind of had a little test launch, and then honestly it took a really big pause. I fully stepped back from working. I had been working in the office for about 10 years, doing airings, going out to QVC, live shopping, building brands, all the things. And then I had my kids, and my whole dream growing up had been to be a stay-at-home mom. In college, people said, oh, what do you want to do when you graduate? And I was like, be a soccer mom. And my mom would joke, she's like, Aubrey, you can't say be a soccer mom, like you're in college to get a job. Like you need to have an answer that's job worthy. So I ended up finding that I loved the beauty industry, and worked at Tria Beauty, interned at Josie Maran Cosmetics, like had this whole trail that led to that. But when I had those 10 years in the office, I didn't do this, which was interesting. I had the time and I just didn't do it. I did do that one candle launch right before, but then it kind of timed out to where when it was time to kind of, after something doesn't succeed, try again, I was ready to pause, and I wanted to pause, and I'm so glad I did. And what shocked me is that in that pause, I thought I honestly wasn't going to go back to work after that. I grew up with a stay-at-home mom. Still do love having a stay-at-home mom. Like we go to lunch and she comes and joins me for things. There's like such benefits personally to it. But I had this like weird desire in my heart that I want to do this still, which really surprised me, and is why I'm sitting here making a video. So that beginning, I guess I'm surprised that I wanted to begin again in a cheesy Taylor Swift lyric, but I was surprised that at nap times I wanted to start posting vlogs. That's actually where I kind of rekindled the Otho brand. I figured that if I wanted to work when my kids were back in school, and I was intending to stay home while they were home, that was a very small way I could kind of ease in. And so I literally started with one blog post a month on othocosmetics.com. And what was interesting, I had learned this from, I did a consulting call with Lindsay Silverman, who is an influencer that then started Hotel Lobby Candle. Before she launched Hotel Lobby Candle, this is crazy, but I literally had a call with her about my dream of building a candle brand. And at the time, the call was focused on SEO, because she was a blogger, and her main thing was to build SEO into your website via a blog. Like that is what I learned from the conversation with her, and I thought it was really smart. And what's crazy is like a couple weeks after her and I had this phone call, she launched a candle brand, and I didn't know she was starting a candle brand. So I was like, oh, I would have like talked to her about it more. It's kind of crazy. But all that to say, I took that advice to heart. She was lovely. It was a great, very like educational conversation for an hour call. Like I felt like I learned a lot. And so she had shared to start posting blogs specifically about what you're building. So if you're doing beeswax candles, she's like, go look at Google, look at when you type in beeswax candle, what questions, this is before Google became AI. This is like old news now, because now it's different. But look at what questions pop up and write blog posts about that, because that will drive traffic to your website. And so at the time when I was committing very little time, that felt like something achievable. And so I started doing one blog post a month, probably about 2 years ago, maybe. And I was surprised that I wanted to do more. And after that, I did it probably for about a year, to where I started getting to one blog post a week. And then I started a Substack. And in all of this too, I got rid of my social media platform. So I got rid of Instagram. I never really had TikTok. I started one, but I never got into it. But I got rid of that. Well, tried to. What's funny, it's still out there in the universe. So there's a random Aubrey TikTok that I can't get the name back on. And then I started one recently for live shopping specifically. But I went through a season of no social media, and really wanted to build a brand without social media. But then how do you do that? Because that is obviously the main form of marketing in this season of the world. So started doing blog posts. Felt like it wasn't really gaining me that much traction for the amount of work I was putting in. Even though it was little, it just didn't have not much happened, which is fine, but not much happened. So then I went to doing Substacks once a week, and I still was kind of doing the blog posts, and then I started doing these videos once a week, and then I realized I needed to pause on the blog posts because I can only have so much time during nap time right now. All my kids are sleeping. And from there, have kind of been trying to figure out live shopping, because I have myself a decade of experience, my dad over 30 years experience in live shopping on real TV, like cable TV, and figuring out how to translate that to this new wave of TikTok shop and whatnot, which I don't want to shop on whatnot or TikTok shop. So I found that interesting, where I've been posting live on Substack, because I'm where do, I like to shop in the Nordstrom's beauty department or on violetgray.com. Where is the live shopping experience for that customer has kind of been what I've been trying to figure out. And all that to say, that has been filling my time in this beginning phase, in a very slow burn. That's a good pace for my season of life. And at the same time, also have been developing the product. So that's just straight on the media and storytelling side, I would say. And at the same time, the part that actually comes easier to me, because I've done it many times over, is the product building. I've been doing in tandem with that. So like I said, I launched a candle over 5 years ago on QVC, and then I had done one beeswax candle and 3 scented candles, because QVC was not cool with launching only beeswax. They wanted more in the assortment, which I appreciate. And so did that, had a candle company. I don't know if you're supposed to share this stuff, but I'm going to. I worked with Modern Candle in LA, and the gentleman there, his name is Arvin. He is wonderful, one of the most knowledgeable, helpful, kind people I have worked with in manufacturing and product development. He's really great. And what was interesting, there was Modern Candle, and there also is a Texas, both a brand and a manufacturer, which is always kind of tricky when you're building a brand, because it's just different. Some factories only build products for other people. Some factories build products and have their own brands. And so that company in Texas is called the Beeswax Company, and they are the ones that have the best beeswax ever. Honestly, it's wonderful. And she is also lovely. So that factory has been wonderful to work with, but they have different MOQs. So when I first started the QVC order, I needed to be able to make thousands of candles, which is the opposite of right now when I can barely sell 2 candles. So actually I gave away 5 for free. Couldn't give away 6, only 5 people wanted them. And nobody wanted my refills, which was a bummer. But actually not a bummer, which was learning. So, and when I say refills, I mean these. So I'll talk about this more in a minute. I'm getting on a tangent. But my beginning phase of product development started with 2 candle manufacturers. We ended up doing the QVC order with Modern Candle, and they were wonderful. The product is great, but it is in a factory, so it does have a different, I would say, hand feel to it. So the wax came from California. I was very, it was important to me to know where the beeswax was sourced from, and we had the certificate of where the beeswax came from. But I will tell you, it had a different feel. It just, still great, but it's not as luxurious as I felt like what came out of the smaller factory that does more hundreds of pieces of orders, which was too small for QVC at the time, and also more expensive, that version where it's hand done. The wax comes in these delicious golden bricks straight from the Texas fields or wherever that wax is coming from. That's what these are made of. that route was more expensive and smaller quantities. So when I first did my QVC order, I went with Modern Candle. Now, when I did this luxury beeswax launch just on othocosmetics.com, I went with the beeswax company in Texas, and I was super excited because I really wanted to order from her. Her name is Christine, and she's lovely. And my dream is someday to do, really going tangent, to do beeswax candles for my church's candlelight service. So I kind of had it as a goal this year, and I haven't met it yet, to be honest. And I prayed about it, and you know, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but still pray about it. Last year, I was actually able to partake in like the funds needed for the paraffin candles that we use, but someday I would love to have beeswax candle, like little tapers filling up the auditorium so that it smells good. Like in the Bible, when it talks about like a pleasing aroma to the Lord. So, so in the beginning, those are my two candle factories. What's crazy is that then I circled back around to the beeswax for this current order that's live on Otho Cosmetics that we just did our PR gifting suite for, which is open to anybody on the newsletter. We want to be hospitable to anybody who wants a product, whether you have 2 followers or 2 million followers. Like, come join, try candle. And so all that to say, actually 2, which is very long, but that was my beginning from the candle standpoint. But then there's also the body buttercream standpoint. So then in tandem to that, I've been wanting to do my like dream. I remember hearing about Lainey Crowell talk about, I'm listening to her podcast lately. She's kind of been putting out podcasts with different channels. I don't even know what you call them. And I thought it was interesting. She wanted to be one of the top 10 at Sephora. Like she said, when she started her company, that was her goal. She wanted to be big. And I don't necessarily have the goal to be big, but I want to be like, you know, when you're at Nordstrom, and there's the Le Labo boutique, little inside, there's the Diptyque booth, there is the Byredo one. Like, I want there to be an Otho one where you can see the little lineup of candles, and they're beeswax, and they vary in color and scent, but they're all fragrance free, and they're all luxurious, and they're all darn expensive materials, to be honest. Like that actual inside of that jar is more expensive than any candle sitting in Nordstrom right now, but it's not available in the luxury candle department. And so that is kind of like my dream for this brand, and for it to live on your countertop in your home beautifully. Like I call it interiorly designed. So if I love interior design, and so I want these products to be built for your countertop or your home, not for a retail shelf. And those are very different purposes. Like one has to catch your attention, one should like subtly blend into your home. And I feel like when you go to Nordstrom and you're in the beauty department, those kind of like home candle beauty brands are where I want to build. Like I love Westman Atelier, but I do see that more obviously heavily focused in makeup. She does though touch into lifestyle, which I love. But when you go to those countertops, I feel like Diptyque has both candles and skincare and body care products, and that is what I want to do. And so in doing so, working on the candle line, also working on our body butter creams. And I had seen, I'm so deviating. Inventor brain. But so back to the beginnings, I guess. I'm in the beginnings of finishing these buttercream products. It has taken a couple years because I'm moving slow, like I'm working at nap times. I'm not in a hurry. I want to build something good, like true heritage beauty. Like people say legacy beauty of like Estee Lauder and Lancome and those kind of places. Like I want to build a heritage beauty brand. Like my family has been inventing since the 1800s. And I would love this beauty brand to have that root to it, where it feels old and lived in and beautiful and good. So in that sense, I'm in no hurry. But for the sake of starting, what's different for me now for this beginning than for other products beginnings is typically when I launch on QVC, they order really large quantities. So a typical like smaller starting PO for us is like $250,000 prep, which means like your product cost, say it costs $50 divided by 250,000, that's your number of units. And so to do that, you can create very freely. You can make custom packaging, you can make custom molds. And we really get to create bespoke inventions for those buyers and for those customers But when I'm developing for myself and for a website, I don't have those MOQs. And so that has been an interesting shift in how I begin this product or this process. And so when I first started beginning this, I was hoping I would launch it with QVC, and it just hasn't lined up. They actually had super interest, more on the HSN side. And I met with them, they were excited, and then it just kind of didn't continue. I followed up, but it hasn't panned out. And I will keep trying, but either way, I don't know that the brand I want to build, it's really what it comes down to is the price point. Like, tallow is expensive, beeswax is expensive as an ingredient, and so then it's hard to hit the price points that do succeed well on that specific retailer with these products. And I really want to build the products with the whole ingredients that I wanted to use. But all I have to say, this beginning has a lower MOQ. It's the summary of this beginning. And so when I first started this project, these like pretty 3D printed samples, this was one of my goals, was to make like a body milk. And this is just like a little mini mock-up, but in something that felt like my great grandma's biscuit jars. She has these beautiful cut crystal biscuit jars. Say that 5 times fast on TV. Think about that. But this is my goal. The MOQ on this is about 10,000 units. Something beautiful like this, I hope, is still in the future. But to factually get started, I needed something with a lower MOQ. Ignore the shape. This was just for a serum. This is more for a body serum. This is more for a body butter. But what I was excited when I found this is this black glass from, I don't want to say it, Marion ultraviolet glass. The MOQs are crazy low, and I'm in product development, and I have reached out to so many glass manufacturers. Most don't get back to me. Half of them laugh at my face when I ask for the quantity that I need. Because on my first order run, like ideally 1,000 units a SKU, I don't want to get a bunch of body butters that nobody wants. Like, I want to learn what people want. And so in doing so, you want to do smaller orders to kind of step up and ramp up and understand what your customer wants. Because if you're building something they don't want, that's no good. I'm in my throat. Side note, I love this water bottle, but then I saw recently that they changed their cap. One of my favorite things, it's the Bink water bottle, is that this, I want to do this with a body butter someday, this cap just kind of silicones on. There's no screwing, no nothing, and it's weirdly satisfying because it lives on my countertop like I want my body butter to someday. So imagine this with a lid like this. Can you hear it? It just feels good. Like, I like doing it. I want to do that someday. Similarly, a too high MOQ for my refillable. It's another beginning. I've had a lot of beginnings that I've had a lot to let go of. I think actually is really, when I think about the summary of this beginning, is because I'm starting at the very beginning, I've gone down a lot of paths that I've realized I have to pivot on in order to launch. Because if I keep going down the path that I'm dreaming of, it's just not realistic. So, violet glass jar, super excited about this. The weight is beautiful. I don't know if you can see on camera the like color. It actually is like, it looks black on camera, but in person when I hold it up to the light, I don't think I could get it. It gets this like pretty violet glow. So it's called violet glass for a reason. And the surprise benefit of that is tallow will do better in dark glass than it would do in straight clear glass, as far as I understand. But very long-winded. This is a long video. I'm talking a lot. Beginning, I have my glass, very excited about, and I just shipped 30 samples of this glass to Veggie Labs in LA. I'm like way oversharing. I don't know why people don't share this info, but this is one of my first samples of our vegan tallow-ish body butter cream. See if we can get that pretty blue. People always do this. Oh, because it works. Like I said, I'm an inventor and a consumer, not a content creator. But I always wondered why they do that. I mean, I assumed it worked, but it smells so good. 2 products to get my beginning going, because I keep beginning things on this initial launch and I just need to hit go. And I'm excited to hit go, and I am hitting go, which is why I feel like I'm kind of wanting to shift from talking hypothetically to talking about what's actually being built. And so right now, my Violet Glass got delivered to Veggie Labs in LA, and they are filling 12 of each samples of body fat and vegan body fat. I have body fat out here. I do. It's empty though, because I used it all, because it's really good. I think I shared another video too. It's crazy. The vegan, which is what most products out on the market are. Like my actual fill cost for tallow, grass-fed, grass-finished, like going the like traceable source of all the things, the tallow is twice as expensive ingredient cost as vegan shea butter. Beautiful too, all these pretty things. Like it just actually costs more. And not that luxury needs to cost more, but I think when you're paying more, you should be paying for quality. And so the quality of the ingredients are really good. And for my beginning to happen, to try to land the plane, because I'm talking a lot, these are getting filled for stability testing in these jars that I plan to wrap kind of like a present. I really want to wrap them, you know those old soaps? Have a little sticker, and then they're wrapped with like pretty paper. Like, since I can't go my biscuit jar cut glass route, and I love interior design, I'm thinking about going the wallpaper route. In theory, kind of like we did with this. I talked about this before, like how this looks and feels like wallpaper. This is launching soon. And even more like elegant, elevated, luxurious wallpaper treatment for your jar to sit on your countertop and look pretty and have like a satisfying, it won't have to clink, it'll have like a softer set down, which I like. I always feel like that sounds nice. But they're being filled right now. And so beginning is going. And once we have our pricing now, we have our jar, selection, I still need to figure out how I'm gonna wrap this beautifully in wallpaper. I really wanna wrap it like those soaps and then just slice around here so that it looks like the soap. I'm thinking on that. Or wrap it and then it's intended to be unwrapped, so it'd still have something pretty under here, but I want the wallpaper to live on the counter, so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Also, in beginning, it's been interesting how each step leads to more decisions, but the step has to be decided to make the next decision. So I had all these thoughts about what the packaging could look like, but now to actually action it, this decision has been made, and so now more decisions get to be made around this. And I had other points, beginnings, and I've talked all about beginnings for 27 minutes, which is too long. Patience, momentum, and faith. I feel like those are all, I mean, there's patience in what I just shared. A mix of patience and like determination, like taking the next step, because if I have patience, but I also need to keep moving, otherwise nothing will happen. So that has been interesting. But I also feel like in this instance, I have patience because I'm not in a hurry, but I want to finish the work and to keep building and developing. Like I've thought on this one enough to where I know what I want it to be and I'm excited for it. And so I feel ready because of that patience, but I'm also patient for it to launch. But that like push and pull of like patience and or momentum, I guess, not next steps, but needing to be patient, but also needing to be decisive so that the next step can be made and the momentum can keep building, which is also what I felt like about the storytelling around this brand, is that it has taken me time to gain momentum around storytelling. And so this video is a year to 2 years of momentum building in other forms. But I guess that's how I see as I'm building things, the momentum picks up and things become easier the more you do them too. So like my first blog post was really hard. My, excuse me, first video, it's funny, I'm comfortable being like live on TV, so that part wasn't hard, but it was hard just to like film it, figure out how to upload it, push post, like get okay with the fact that only 3 people watch it. My mom even says they're too long, but I'm still filming them. So, and the last piece that I think is the most important piece is faith. My dad always said, take the next best step and trust God with the outcome. and I shared this before, my mom always said, a smart girl like you will figure it out. And so having faith that, I don't know, like the Bible says that God has good plans. Like, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. And those plans, like, you have to take action, you have to be patient, but you have to work for something to happen. So I think that's that take the next best step and trust God with the outcome. And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm very much, and I don't think you ever get out of that. Like, you obviously, until you're in heaven, you're like always trusting God with the next step. But I think in the beginning, the steps are smaller but feel harder, where I feel like later on, just in watching my dad, so he's been an entrepreneur his whole life, but the steps are bigger, but they don't feel as big because he's had the momentum leading up to it. But yes, I guess all that to say, I have faith that God has big plans. I think sometimes it's hard to know, like, what am I supposed to do? But I think God put these dreams and desires in my heart, and it feels good to action them versus to sit on them, excuse me, or think about them for too long. And so I'm excited to be there right now. So big prayers that these body butters, I don't know, I feel like fit well into someone's home, and that they make people feel like at home in their bodies. Like, that is definitely something. I love the feeling of home. And also, like, take a little bit of the pressure off, which I don't know how you do this in a brand, but like having faith that actually, I know what it is. Not even take the pressure off. Like, I think in heaven someday everyone's going to be sparkly and wonderful and like how God made them. But I think on earth right now, we're going to get wrinkles. All the things, like, those things are going to happen because we're on earth. I feel like having faith that those things aren't the most important thing. Maybe that's what it is. And like sharing that faith through products is important to me. But yeah, lots to think on. Appreciate being here. Switching from just thoughts. Oh man, clearly I've talked too much. If I'm coughing, because it's like when you have a sleepover and you stay up too late talking and all of a sudden you start coughing, you're like, oh, it's time to go to bed. So talk too long, but enjoy doing this, which is interesting. It's fun to, I feel like I keep doing it because I obviously must like it. And it's sometimes hard to be like, oh yeah, I enjoy doing that. But I enjoy building these products. I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy kind of not knowing what's coming and like trusting God and seeing, I think what he wants to do is bigger and better than anything we could ever dream. And so, but you have to like move forward to let him act on your actions. And so excited to be doing that. Appreciate your time. And I will be back next week on hospitality and how I feel like that plays into our brand and the world I want to build around it. So hope you have a good day. Thank you.